Hey guys, your boy Mercenary, and today I'm here to make a pretty interesting video. We have some heavy Beyblades that exist, some namely being like Diablo Nemesis, Twisted Tempo is pretty heavy. A lot of the 4D bays are super heavy. But what is the heaviest possible MFB combo? Well, I'm gonna show you today, and we're gonna test it out in some battles, see how good it might potentially be. I am going to do a synchrome combo for this because synchromes are, of course, the heaviest combos we can make. And some of this is going to be predictable. But I do have one curveball thrown in here. So let's see. Of course, we got to have a metal face bolt just for that extra weight. So I have the metal stone face custom here. The heaviest metal face bolt that we can get. So that's pretty cool. For the synchrome wheels, the two heaviest wheels that I have are Kraken and Arroya, and I just realized I didn't actually take out Kraken, but luckily it is right here at the top of the pile. So let me grab the Kraken wheel. I actually grabbed Dragoon because I'm used to grabbing Wyvern Dragoon, but that's not what today is about. Today is about Kraken Arroya or Arroya Kraken. I'm not sure which I'm going to put on top. I think I'm going to put Arroya on top. So the combo so far is Arroya Kraken, no, Wyvern Kraken. Combo is Wyvern Kraken. Sorry, it's Arroya Wyvern, so I don't know. The base bay is Arroya Wyvern. Now this is where you might be expecting the gravity ball or the boost disc. Boost disc is actually way heavier than gravity ball, and Elevator 230 and Boost Discs are actually the same height, or same weight, and definitely not height. However, I'm not using either of those. What you might not be expecting is that I'm using the Hasbro Destroyer Dome Spin Track, because I weighed it, and it is actually considerably heavier than Boost Disc. And I'll show some weight later. I'm going to switch to handheld mode while I go to my scale. And show you just how much these parts weigh. I didn't actually do that for the Torch Gemios video, which I did intend to. I just didn't get around to it, of course, because you know me, I'm forgetful. And anyways, for the tip, we have Gear Circle Flat. This is the heaviest tip. So of course, we gotta use it in the heaviest combo. This combo is not particularly great. We have this spin track, which completely covers the metal wheel. This tip, which is extremely aggressive with the gears on it as well. And then this is not bad. I would say this is pretty solid. We got a pretty round wheel. We got one of the better defensive wheels in 0G. Kraken is already pretty good. Arroya Kraken, not as good for the purpose, but still fairly solid, but none of that matters since it's all being gated behind this plastic disc. So let's see how this will actually perform. I think the weight is going to be a good factor, but other than that, I'm not sure. Also, I feel like the only reason this thing is heavier than Dragoon for me is because of the paint job, which is mostly scraped around the edges, but it's still pretty intact, so maybe that is adding the couple grams it needs to be heavier. But besides that, I think this is, it just doesn't matter as long as it's got weight, because this is going to do most of the contact. I would use Boost Disc or E230, but as you know, that'll scrape heavily with Gear Circle Flat on it, and Gear Circle Flat already scrapes a ton. So let's just go ahead and put this together, and I'll go ahead and weigh the full combo and let you guys see it in its glory. Lord, this, I'm not sure how to feel about, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Yeah. Alright, so I'm at my desk right now. You can see I have the bay disassembled and Gear Circle Flat over here. It should be 3 grams or about 3 grams, but this scale is pretty bad because I use it for so much things. It's been used for cooking, for gunpla, for bays now. So it's been through the ringer for quite a while, for over a year. Not sure exactly how long, but regardless, it gets the job done. It's consistent with what's heavier and what's lighter. Here we see the metal stone face. It should be 7 grams, of course, but it's showing 6 because the scale isn't accurate. like this. 32 grams should be about 33-ish. And just to prove it's heavier than Dragoon, I got my Dragoon here, 29 grams. This is also the Hasbro version, so it might just be lighter than the Takara. Here we got Wyvang, which is also 32 grams, matches up well there. And then we got the spin track. I said I was going to do this in order of lightest to heaviest, but I guess I just forgot the spin track, which is 11 grams. Should maybe be 12 grams, not too sure. Regardless, that's about 2 to 3, maybe even 4 grams heavier than the boost disc, which is typically about like 7 or 8 grams if I recall correctly. So let me get this put back together and I'll show you the full thing with the full weight. Alright, now that this is all put together, I decided to put Wyvang on top because I think it looks a bit better like this. But now that it's all put together, it's time to weigh it, the moment of truth. How much does the heaviest possible MFB Bey weigh? Also, I don't know if any of the other disc wheels like this might have weighed more. I don't have them to compare. This is the last one I could find for my collection. I think potentially one of them could be heavier, but as I said, I don't have them. I don't want to sound like a broken record or anything, but this is just what I have. This is the heaviest possible combo I can make. There is heavier if you have like Wyvang, but I'm not spending $60 for another Wyvang just to make this video. So let's go ahead and drop this here. As you see, that is 84 grams, way heavier than Diablo. Way heavier than pretty much any other Bey. I'm pretty sure just the two metal wheels together outweighs the entire Diablo Nemesis XD combo. So this is a heavy Bey. It's just unfortunate that it's probably not going to perform too great. If you put like RDF or something actually good defensively on it, it could have potential, but I just don't think this solid spin track is actually that great. Maybe for like weight distribution and all that kind of stuff, but typically if you want weight distributed, you want it towards the outer edge rather than the center for something like stamina. Maybe defense, you want that plastic disc to absorb a lot of damage before it hits that heavy recoil on the metal wheel. This is a pretty rounded shape here, so let's see how it goes. I'll choose out some battles. Definitely gonna put it against Nemesis. Definitely gonna put it against Tempo. Not sure how it's gonna do with the lack of the ability to flower, considering this tip. But I'll test it nonetheless, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I've gathered a couple days, and I've got a couple battles that I think might be interesting to see lined up. Now that I look at it, I probably should have grabbed the Synchron Bey, but too late. I am lazy. So, first off, I'm going to have him against Twisted Tempo. So, this should be an interesting battle. Let's see how this blue spin track will do against other Beys. If it's tanky, if it'll add some KO power somehow. I'm not sure how. But regardless, hopefully it does something. We got Eldrago Destroy, just because I rarely use it, at least the normal version. I love using the Gold Koro, but we know how people get when we use nice shiny painted Beys. I got this Flash Sagittario, so hopefully with the tall spin track, we'll actually be able to get some metal on metal action. We got Diablo Nemesis to see how this does. Probably going to perform similarly to Tempo, but I'm going to try the mode change. I'm going to try some other things. We'll see exactly how it does. And for the final battle, probably the toughest battle, it's going to be against my lightest Beyblade combo from the other video. Torch Gemios 85 HF. So, let me get right into this, because we got a lot of battles, and I don't want it to take 20 plus minutes this time. So I'm gonna start with the Flash Sagittario battle. Oh wow, so some actually crazy collisions right off the bat, causing Sagittario to lose a ton of stamina and actually lose the battle right away. That's quite interesting. This might actually be pretty solid. Oh, wow. Okay, so I was able to get a knockout on Flash Sagittario. I'm thinking mainly because this is so weighty and actually pretty tanky, while this is a super high recoil Bey on a tip that does not grip the stadium very well in terms of defense. Let me try a flat one. So a tornado stall obviously isn't going to do quite as great, but I just wanted to test it, see how it goes. Don't want Flash to be out too soon. Let's see if maybe Flash can get a good hit in that sends this Bey flying, or maybe it just gets tornado stalled and killed. So far, it looks like Flash is probably gonna be the one to win, but we'll just have to see once Kraken Y-Bang gets to that center and makes a bit of contact. Oh wow, the plastic is actually making contact. And it's absorbing hits pretty nicely. I think that's why this thing isn't losing as much stamina, is because this plastic wheel absorbs attacks super well. Let's try one last battle. Dang, what was that? Ooh. Wow. Okay, so it is actually able to get some pretty good knockouts. This is actually pretty crazy. Way better than I expected it to be. But stock Flash isn't the craziest. So let's get into another battle before I make a final judgment. And no, I did not tornado stall so I could go off screen and grab my left launcher for El Drago. I am definitely prepared for these videos. I'm actually going to launch El Drago first since it has the potential spin steal. So 3, 2, 1, let it go. Ow, okay. I hit my hand on a wall in the middle of launching, so give me a second. 3, 2, 1. Okay, well, that was a pretty interesting KO. It just kind of got redirected out of the stadium. The plastic actually made a solid contact with the rubber, so I'm assuming that would help Medio spin steal if it ever came to that, but it didn't quite get there in that battle. So let's try another. Okay, I think a flower battle would have been good here. Some good collisions. Oh, it looks more like it's destabilizing El Drago here, making it scrape out. This is also the fault of the performance tip. Knocking it off balance whenever it activates. Final survive, as we know, is not entirely great. Let's try second round. For a third round, I guess this is. Wow, okay. I'm seeing mostly Kraken or Y-Bang do damage here. I think putting Y-Bang on top was the right choice because it's just way better for that powerful smash. I don't know how, considering it's so round, but this thing has some insane smash attack. Anyways, it looks like it's just dicing up El Drago right now. Let's try one more. Dang, he's just knocking El Drago around. Maybe it is because of Synchrom. I need to try this against another Synchrom combo. I'm not quite sure what. Okay, this is going down to the spin stealing, so I'm thinking El Drago probably is going to win, but let's see exactly what happens. Wow, actually, never mind. El Drago actually lost. So, this thing is actually pretty broken. Maybe I just need to put it against a Synchrom combo. So let me make one that I think is going to be pretty good against this, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've gone ahead and put together what I think might be a solid counter to this Bey. Considering what I think is the reason for these knockouts is This blue wheel is so wide. It can get underneath bays pretty easily and destabilize them. As you saw with El Drago, it was scraping quite a lot, and even Sagittario was struggling to stay upright a little bit. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've made a lower height defense combo. Something, I just put Ray Unicorno's bottom. So Golem Revisor or Gorium Revisor, D125 CS. This is a lower height. I was going to put something a little shorter than D125, but I went ahead and just grabbed it because I wasn't sifting. I don't want to take apart too many bays. I don't want to sift through my parts too long. But hopefully this should be just short enough to where this can't quite get underneath and this just makes contact with that bottom wheel. I'm not sure how well it's actually going to do. This should outspin and tank pretty well, considering the rubber coat to tank and the sharp to, you know, spin longer in the center there. So I'll go ahead, I'll launch this first since I have more confidence in it. And I'll go ahead and launch you. Oh wow. Okay, so this is what I was hoping would happen. It's not leaning over or anything like the other bays. It's just kind of taking the hits and staying in place. So I think the real weakness is if you're using anything with, oh, wait, never mind. It still managed to get that win unexpectedly. Try launching a bit harder. Okay, as we know, the general rule on my channel is self-KO without contact does not count as a KO. I think it's still managing to destabilize even now. We'll see here, it's kind of spinning around, stalling a little bit. Now we're getting that contact. And I think this is where the stamina is incredibly drained. Maybe it's something to do with this wheel that's just causing stamina to drain. But I think this grippy sort of like segmented edge is causing the bay to grip and sort of like rub off that steel, that spin. I don't know if that's a great way to explain it. Let me try a spin stealer and Medio El Drago, this low high spin stealer, see if the rubber really does do better than the plastic, which I'm hoping it does, but I'm not sure considering the win streak that we've had so far. So let me, of course, launch El Drago first, and hopefully it doesn't just get knocked out right away. Okay, it looks like things went to tornado stall right away, but the scraping of the GCF does lead it to lose stamina pretty quickly, but it also means it goes towards the center more quickly, meaning it'll make more contact early on that could possibly send out the defense type or stamina type or whatever, cause it to unravel much sooner. But as we see here, Medio not really budging too much. The plastic and the rubber is not very... Oh, never mind. I think Medio might finally beat this thing. It is getting kind of flung. GCF, of course, doesn't have great LAD, especially compared to the Eternal Wide Defense, which I put on this thing instead of the LRF, or LF. Let's see if that theory is correct. Yep, Medio wins this one. Let me try and get the flower pattern this time, see if that affects anything. Never mind. Okay, as soon as we get the flower pattern, this thing actually has insane recoil for some reason. I think the problem is this doesn't do enough recoil to send something flying. So this can catch up really quickly to whatever it sends out of the way. Meaning you can get some pretty quick barrage attacks is what I'm noticing. As soon as it makes contact, it makes a lot of contact. Okay, here we see it's gone back to the tornado method. Maybe hitting Meteor early was a good thing to drain some stamina. But we'll see once it draws back to that center and makes some more contact with Meteor. I'm also going to try hand spun Meteor for some of this to see if that might potentially work. This time it wasn't quite able to combo Meteor early on with all that spin. So now it's just wasting its stamina running around. But let's see if it's able to do its destabilization magic right now. It is mostly keeping Meteor away from the center thanks to its weight and Meteor's lack of weight. But overall, this looks like another L for Kraken Y-Vein. Yep, Meteor. As soon as it goes to LAD, Meteor wins. But if it can get the knockout, it gets the knockout. Okay, there was technically contact, but I'm not going to count it since he did kind of just spin out of control pretty early. Though actually, nah, that would count as a Meteor win. However, I'm still going to keep going for the sake of testing. And now, for some reason, it just doesn't want to keep flower patterns. Also, I did say I would try a hand-spun Meteor, so let me try that. Okay, a hand-spun Meteor does not seem like it'll work, probably. Maybe this time. Let's see once it gets to the center. Actually, let me just retest this launch. Hopefully it'll make some contact soon. Or else Meteor's just gonna run out of spin before any contact is even made. I tried to get that flower pattern, but unfortunately didn't work. Let's try hand spinning Meteor from here. This doesn't count to any points really. Meteor already proved that it could beat this combo somehow. Well, I mean, not somehow. I was kind of expecting something to eventually beat it. And no combo is completely unstoppable. No, this time we see that Meteor actually got destabilized. I guess this round shape coming into contact with such a low height bay caused it to push down into the ground. And every time it can get under something, the round shape pushes it upwards, causing it to tilt the other way. Maybe I'm not a physics guy. I think the plastic is also so smooth and nice and rounded, especially with this weird shape it has. It could lead to a lot of things. Yeah, I'm finding it a bit more difficult as things go on to maintain that flower pattern. Let's test them against Twisted Tempo now. Let's see, how does Twisted do? So far, everything's been a bit taller than the Bey or a bit shorter. Nothing's quite been on the same height. Here we're going to see they're both 145 spin tracks, so this should do interesting. Let's see, are we able to get that stamina drain that we got before? Not at all. Though Twisted was actually very low on stamina by the end of that. Okay. Interesting outcome. A lot of good barrage attacks. Milking its stamina quite early with that sort of gear-shaped edge. Pulling it in the other direction. I think that is a good theory, but again, I'm not a physics man. I just play with toys and record it so the world can watch. This time it looks like Tempo still won. So it looks like as soon as you manage to stall it out with that tornado stall, it loses pretty quickly, which was my fear considering it's on GCF. I'm not sure how those other bays still managed to lose, but whatever, I guess. Let's try Nemesis. Let's try him in stamina mode first, at least. Oh, God. You guys did not see that, but that flung right out of the stadium directly at my groin, which is not fun. I have this against the pillow for a reason, as you can see there, but it just ignored the pillow and flew directly at me. So, unlucky me there. Let's restart this battle. Diablo Nemesis was hit pretty hard, though this thing does have a lot of recoil and weight, so it does make sense. However, does not last against this thing, especially with the terrible LED of the sharp tip. Let's switch him to attack mode now, because this sounds fun. Okay, he's too fast. He's too fast for me to even get the Bey onto here. So let me just restart that. Okay, so Wyvang was swiftly knocked out there after a little chase around the stadium. Now I'm going to switch Nemesis modes. Ooh, the camera is tilted a little bit. Gotta fix this up. Hopefully that's good. Let me switch Nemesis into its ultimate balance mode and see how this might do. Maybe the switching of modes will do something. I'm not sure if there's a way to make this start in any specific mode, so we'll see it as the fight happens. Do a lot of small hits. It doesn't look like Nemesis is quite able to do much in this mode. This mode does kind of suck, if I'm being honest. The free spinning of the metal wheel causes a lot of stamina drain when you're actually launching the Bey. This has been proven before. I know someone who has shaved off the stoppers in Chrysignis. I don't have a Chrysignis, but if you didn't know, Chryse is a fusion wheel, or Crease. I don't know how you really want to say it, but I pronounce it Chryse because that's what I thought it was. Chryse is a metal wheel that is advertised as free spinning. It has a sort of rounded downward shape. When it's in the free spinning mode, at least, it's a 4D wheel. It has a sort of cone up shape, which is where it doesn't spin, but in the free spinning mode, it actually only rotates about 90 degrees roughly. Somebody I know tested it. They shaved off the thing and made the wheel fully free spinning. And when that happens, it actually damages the stamina of the Bey heavily. So maybe that's why Nemesis isn't doing so great in this battle. Let's test it in this fight and see if that's still the case. We can see he decided to start in stamina mode this time. Let's see if a couple hits can change it. Overall, I see that says an L for Nemesis though, once things do get to the center. Oh, he did change modes, but it actually did help him, able to get some good attacks off there. I think I am just about satisfied with the things that I've seen today. So that's about it for this combo. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It was able to pull off some things I did not expect. Maybe a change of performance tip would be very good. You know what? This video is long enough, but I'm gonna try that. So I decided to try slapping RDF onto this thing, and so I'm gonna do one battle with it against something else. I'm thinking an attack of some kind, but I just don't know quite what. I should have thought about that before I hit record, but you know, let's just go ahead and put it back against El Drago Destroy and see if the RDF can help it. Or actually, no, I'm going to do it against something it lost to. So let's try it against this guy and see if the RDF manages to help. So, D2 on let it rip. D2 on let it rip. Okay, instant knockout. Let's see who wins here. I'm just going to do a couple battles. Maybe I'll try it against Tempo again since it lost to Tempo initially. Maybe RDF with its better LAD, it's able to just outspin a little bit. Media was one of the few things this Bey was able to lose to. So we'll see if it's able to pull it back this time. The good old spin steel always comes in quite clutch. Alright. Wow, okay, that was a lot closer than it should have been. Let me do one against Tempo, and that's going to be it for the video. That is not supposed to happen. This clank sound is pretty interesting. I'll say that much. It sounds pretty nice, actually. It's mostly, it's a mix of plastic and metal, obviously, but it does sound kind of nice. And yeah, as we can see, any metal contacting this plastic drains it significantly. However, rubber seems to still triumph in draining the stamina out of things. Except, unfortunately, this guy was not great at it because he just got destabilized. Maybe with a different tip. Oh, a bit of dust. Maybe with a different tip and track, it will do better. But, I mean, that goes for El Drago Destroy as a whole because this FS kind of sucks. Not just this one, but all FSs kind of suck. Anyways, that is it for real this time. This is a pretty long video. I didn't expect it to be. I didn't intend to make such a long video. But, oh well. Content, am I right? And of course, in the description will be the Discord link to Exotics' Discord server. He's where I buy a lot of my bays. I originally started on Bai, but I've kind of switched to him since it's a bit easier for me personally. However, Bai is also a great pace, but of course I just got to shout out the homies. So check out Exotics. I'll put his Discord in the description. He gives you some pretty good deals, and I think you guys should go too. If you saw my last unboxing video, the $200 random mystery box, that was from him. So maybe you want something similar, maybe you want something different. Go ahead and check him out. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Just gotta put in the homie plug, of course.